Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to start off with a little unboxing. We just received some plants that I'm so excited about. The first bunch is from Harmony Harvest Farm. It's been months ago now, but I ordered several heirloom chrysanthemums to plant out in our cut flower garden. And the other box that we got is from Thin Hill Dahlias, and hopefully you can read that. I already opened it a little bit, just enough to read the note. Jen from Thin Hill Dahlias sent us out a bunch of tubers that she thought I would really enjoy growing, that I would really enjoy using in arrangements. So I'm super excited to look through that. Now, Erin already opened the smaller box from Harmony Harvest Farm. And so this is kind of what we're looking at right here. There's plant tags, which is awesome. But we've got a bunch of little plant starts. It looks like there are 4 of them in this bunch, and we're gonna be potting them up into 4-inch containers today. Because I have to be completely honest, when you place a plant order several months in advance, it's something that can very easily kind of slip through the cracks and you kind of forget about it a little bit. And so then you don't plan for space for it in your cut flower garden. So I don't have a spot ready for them yet. So I figured whether or not they stay in their container for 1 day or 2 weeks, at least we can get them potted up, watered in the greenhouse where they're protected so that they can stay healthy. But I thought it would be fun to run through all the varieties because there's some really neat ones. So I think maybe what we should do is get them all out of their boxes and open up the cartons so we can see what varieties we have, and then we'll run through all the names. Oh my goodness, you guys, so many plants right here. Because each one of these is filled up with 4 starts that look like this right here, which is what we want to get planted up today, and they look really happy. I am so thrilled. And this is a variety I think I didn't even put on my order. I think they threw this one in as a Kiwi Magic. I'm excited to get back on their website and go back through all of their different varieties just to look at each one of these again. I pored over their website for a very long time when I was ordering these, and I revisited and I'm just so excited to try growing these because the wonderful thing about them, and the reason why I want to make sure I put them in a spot that I like, is because they are perennial. So I would love to be able to put them somewhere where they could just hang out and stay. So I'm going to just run through the list here, and I'll try to do it in a somewhat slow way so that we can throw a picture up on the screen of each one of these varieties and what I'm hoping to get from these. Maybe not this year, but in years to come. So first one is Homecoming. Then we have Cream Jessie Habgood, Chesapeake, Apricot Alexis, and there was 8 of those. There was actually 8 of all the first 4 I just talked about, so I must have really liked those. There's Peach Centerpiece, Primrose Mount Shasta, Oberlin, Norton Vic, Mellow Moon, Jane Sharp, Cherry Venice, George Couchman, French Vanilla, Evening Glow, Chiffon, Salmon Fairweather, and then this Kiwi Magic here. There's also one called Gertrude right here. Let's see, I don't think I forgot any. But what we need to do next is get these in and get them potted. I don't want to leave them sitting here in the sun. So we're just going to take them in the greenhouse, pot them up, get them watered, and then I will let you know if I've missed any. After we're done with that, then we'll go through the dahlia tubers. I just feel like I want to get this job done first so we have happy plants. the first bunch right here, and a couple that I don't know if they were on my order form, but Powder Puff and Vesuvio right there, they were just singles, so I'm excited to see those. Here's another group right here. Kind of have them spread out all over the place. And then we've got this group right here, which we talked about the Kiwi Magic and Gertrude, but Savannah Charleston, we talked about that one too, I think. Yeah, and it came with this handy care guide, which says first things first, remove your plants from the box immediately, allow them to sit in a shady spot for a few days to recover from the journey. So I think that being in here, being watered, protected from the wind. Oh, very nice. Samantha's playing in her sandbox right now. And then after they have recovered, you find a sunny spot outside, prepare the soil. I always add in Biotone starter fertilizer, so I will do that. And it says for spacing, because these plants can get quite large. If you're planting them in your home garden, like in your flower beds, it says to space them 1 to 2 feet apart. And if you're planting them in a field or in a high tunnel sort of situation, you can go 6 to 12 inches. And it does say to consider adding netting to prevent bending or breaking, so like the Hortonova netting. It also does give winter tips. So if you have really harsh climates, hard winters, you can dig up the plants and repot them, and you store them somewhere between 30 and 50 degrees, remembering to water them every 2 to 3 weeks. If not, you can just mulch them up and they should be fine. I actually have one of these type of mums that comes back. Somebody else planted it. It was here when we moved in, but it comes back every single year, and it's up by the Persephone garden. So I'm thinking, especially if I put a tunnel over it, like a low cat or something like that, we should be okay. But I'm so excited about these because these aren't like the typical, you know, little mum flowers that you see at your garden center or at the grocery store, you know, in the fall. These are like the big giant blooms, and they last forever in a vase. I love that because I am not a huge fan of like topping up water or redoing my flower arrangements. Like once I have it inside, like that's it, and it's gotta last. So this is the type of flower that I love, and I think the colors and structures are beautiful. So anyway, I'm very excited about it, and I will bring you along for my journey with the heirloom mums. But now we need to take a look at what dahlias came. And these are just going to be going straight into our root cellar as soon as we take a look at the list. So they're in here. You can kind of see one of the tubers right there. I'm not going to open them all the way up. There's also labels. Oh, that's so nice. But here's our list. So we've got Cafe au Lait Minis, Cal Mini, Hillcrest Suffusion, Peach Bud, Salish October Wedding, Sunspot, Tyrell Valley Tawny, Kamano Rue, Ruskin Gypsy, and Bloomquist York. I am so excited. I'm going to go look up all of these. Some of them, like Tyrell, I think I've grown that one before, but I don't know that I've grown any of the other ones. So thank you, Jen, for sending these out. I actually have, Paul and Bethany have been working on preparing the whole dahlia area, and we're going to plant next week. I was hoping to get to it this week, but it's been so bloomin' windy around here. I just kind of, like, here comes the breeze. I haven't really been wanting to work out in an open field in the wind, and I have not looked in our dahlia crates but once all winter long, and I didn't divide them or anything. We're just going to get them out and we're going to go with it, because if I'm going to grow something like dahlias, I want it to be as easy as possible. So we're just trying out different methods, and hopefully one of these years we'll land on something that just really works for us. But right now, before we get out and do a little bit of work out in the garden, I actually have a ham in the oven. We're gonna go have dinner. Need to get some potatoes out of the root cellar, and in fact, we'll just take these in there. Potatoes out of the root cellar. Oops, I think that's it. We're gonna do mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, ham, rolls. It's one of Benjamin's favorite meals. Ooh, not too bad. I see a good looking one right there. Terracotta, of course. Oh my, you got quite the stick. Oh my gosh. Do you wanna hold this while I get potatoes? Okay, here you go, baby. Can you put them in the basket, please? Starting to grow. They still feel really firm and nice, though. I cannot believe these are all the way from last year. Good job. Yes, we are.
What are those for?
Potatoes. Okay, that's enough. Let's go. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go make dinner. We may come back out this evening and work, or we might come back together tomorrow to finish up our projects. All right guys, it is a new day and it's a breezy one, slightly on the chilly side. It's about 50 degrees outside right now, but it's sunny, which is nice when the wind dies down. It feels sort of warm. We've got some beautiful Baptisia to plant, some Decadence dark chocolate, and a new variety for this year called Periwinkle Popsicle. So the dark chocolate, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. I just love that color. It's like a plummy chocolate with that little bit of yellow on the inside of the blooms. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. And then the Periwinkle Popsicle sort of looks like a lupin to me, which is wonderful because I love lupins, but we struggle to grow them. So this allows me the opportunity to kind of enjoy that look. You know what? I think I'm going to sit inside the gator. That might be kind of nice. Maybe a little bit more protected from the wind, slightly. So the differences between these two varieties of Baptisia, the main one, well, other than the color, the main one for me is that the Periwinkle Popsicle blooms later than most all other Baptisias. So if you want to have a lot of Baptisia interest in your garden, you can choose different varieties that sort of bloom staggered a little bit so you can enjoy that bloom season a little bit longer. The Decadence dark chocolate stays a bit smaller, 3.5 feet tall by 3 feet wide, while the Periwinkle Popsicle 4.5 feet tall by 3.5 feet-ish wide. And their main bloom season is late spring through early summer, but their foliage is so pretty. Throughout the rest of the season, they kind of bring this delicate iridescent green-blue to the table, and the leaves kind of have a sweet pea look to them. Am I just crazy in thinking that? They just kind of look like the tendrils that come up from a sweet pea with the same sort of leaf structure. And both the leaves and the flowers are great in cut flower arrangements, but I think as far as what they do in a flower bed, you know, right now we're just starting to see some of our summer perennials start to bloom, and this one sort of bridges the gap a little bit because my Baptisias that I already have planted out in the garden have been blooming for a while. So they kind of bridge that gap between bulbs like late tulips and your early blooming summer perennials. So they provide that color. And they typically have sort of bare stems toward the bottom of the plant, so they're great to underplant. In fact, I've got a really good example over here. See these right here? They're the lemon meringue variety. If you look down below, you can see what their stems look like. Just nice little tidy bunches. So you can really get in there with some fun lower growing perennials and underplant to where the leaf and bloom canopy is up higher, and then you can have more interest below. And you can see that I haven't made it to that step in this flower bed yet. Okay, so that's our goal, to get these in the ground, get them watered in, and then I need to go around and do all my other watering rounds. I could hear the wind howling for most of the night last night, so I'm sure I'm going to be dealing with some really dry things. In fact, these were super dry when I came out here this morning. And I just gave them some water straight away so that we were dealing with moist root balls. Okay, let's do it. These in here. I mean, as you can see, this area is lacking color this time of year. We've got some beautiful specimen trees for sure, but we don't have anything in bloom yet. I mean, we've got Sunny Rita roses right there, and there are some perennial geraniums that are just starting to push a little bit of color. So I think this space really needed it. It'll be fun to watch these get a little bit bigger, more established, and then we can come in maybe with the same kind of perennial geranium and just pack out this area so they've got something underneath them. They are just beautiful. I mean, right next to them, we've got that silverleaf willow. We've got the larch that we just recently planted. There are also some totem pole grasses. I think it's just going to be a nice dense area once things get bigger. That's kind of the situation for most areas out here in the South Garden. And right now, this is us going into our 4th growing season out here in this space. But the first growing season, we were really just focused on getting our lines determined, getting the infrastructure in place. We did get a few trees planted, a few evergreens planted, but a lot of the perennial and shrub stuff started the second year. So I feel like it's coming along. Okay, let's go get the chocolate ones planted. I know some of you will probably ask if they smell like chocolate. No, they do not. But wouldn't that be awesome? I love those right there. I put 3 out of the 4 in this spot, and we're gonna find another location for the 4th one. But in this same flower bed, we've got the Cat's Meow Nepeta, Rise Up Amber Nest Roses, so they're beautiful kind of orangey apricot color, Procumbens Blue Spruce, which has pushed a tremendous amount of soft, bright new growth this spring. But I wanted to start at kind of a backed up angle because I think I am gonna put a small ornamental tree that's got red sort of foliage in here. Maybe a weeping beech or something like that, because I'm missing something tall in here. I've got the trio of Renaissance Reflection birch trees there. There is a Serbian spruce and then a Shademaster honey locust, but I need some height right up here toward the front of this bed. And I also left some space in front of the Baptisia, so we can do something a little bit lower right in front of them. Okay, I'm gonna grab this 4th one because I do think I know where I'd like this one to go. Oh, look at these 9 barks while we walk by. Look at how gorgeous these are. What in the world? This one loves its location. Looks beautiful with everything around it. And I just cannot believe these gorgeous arching stems full of blooms. This is the ginger wine right here. I think I'd like to tuck this one right in here, possibly. Or better yet, right here. Yeah, I think I will like it in this spot. We've got some Midnight Masquerade Penstemon we just planted. There's some Russian sage that will come in for some late color, but it'll be nice to have some early color right here. And you know, while we're over here, I did want to give you an update on those El Nino Catalpas we planted last year in this area. They went in when I think it was over 100 degrees the day I planted them. Maybe it was 101, something like that. And I thought, should I get out there and put an umbrella over them? Are they going to be okay? Because they look like the type of shrub that would not survive here. They have very delicate kind of orchid-like blooms that are fragrant, and they were so beautiful. And I was so disappointed this spring when they just seemed to be showing no growth. There was one that had a little bit of growth at the base, but all the stems looked dead. Well, in the last just few days, they have sprung to life, and I'm so glad that I didn't have time to come out here and pull them out, because I would have. And now I know that maybe they're just a late bloomer. So if you have one in your garden, maybe it's gonna do the same thing. Or maybe not. I don't know. Look at this. I mean, they looked like this, dead, with dead leaves until just a few days ago. I'm gonna have to trim back, you know, a good portion of the stems, but at least they're still alive. There's this one right here, and you can see the growth on it. We were actually driving around kind of just doing our nightly garden tour a couple of nights ago, and I had Aaron slam on the brakes because I just noticed that there was some green, something green, and I told him there's either life in those shrubs still, or there's a big bunch of weeds growing around the base of each one of them. And here's the 3rd one. I'm just so thrilled. And this one's even trying to push some growth higher up in the stems. So we'll see how they do this year. I mean, maybe they'll act like buddleia. We have to cut our buddleia back pretty much all the way to the ground every single year. So maybe that's how these will grow for us. I am not sure. If any of you have more experience with this type of plant, let me know. But it was a first for me planting this type. And I think it's a fairly new plant. It either came out last year, or I think it came out last year. I don't know. I saw it at Garden Center available for sale last year. Oh, so happy. So sometimes putting jobs off like that pay off. Okay, let's get these 4 planted. Okay, well there's our first 3, and they look excellent right there. Gosh, I just think they're the most beautiful color. He's been out here chatting with me all morning, huh, Russell? And there's that 4th one. It looks really pretty with the foliage color of the penstemon right there. Love it. And that is going to be it for our planting project today. Now, with the mums that we unboxed and potted up, I had a chance to think about it in between then and now. And I think what I would like to do, because in the instructions, you know, it said in colder climates, you need to dig them up and pot them. And while I do have one mum that's that type that comes back every year, it's always a little bit weak. So I'm thinking that when we have this area behind the barn all done, and we set up our high tunnels, we're gonna have 2 high tunnels back there. One I want to grow in, and the other one will be to hold over plants. So I think we might plant them in the high tunnel back there. And that way we don't have to lift them, we can just grow them protected, and that might solve a lot of issues right there. And who knows, I mean, I'm not positive we'll do that, especially because there'll be some time between now and when the high tunnels are actually up. So I might find a spot for them in the meantime, but I think that that would be a great way to grow them. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna go get everything watered and then I'm gonna go inside. I'm sick of this wind. See you in the next video. Bye.